Marc Emery takes the spot. The whole world knows he's the Prince of Pot. He's the Prince of Pot. He's the Prince of Pot. Now shy, he's not. He gives it all he's got. He's the Prince of Pot.
100 head shops in Canada out of business, many of them in Ontario, but all the ones in British Columbia and Alberta were gone from the period 1987 to about 1994. Eventually, after 5 years of trying to break this literature law, we were selling High Times magazine, I was selling Grow Guides in my hometown at the time of London, Ontario, and trying to get charged so I could go to court to strike this law down. It actually took us 5 years of breaking the law, because they didn't want to lose the law, and they knew that if we challenged it in court, it would probably get struck down, as nothing in our Constitution would permit censorship of the truth. Anyway, I went over to this woman's house because they said she was going to be evicted because she smoked 1 gram of marijuana every day to eliminate that she has phantom ghost pains because she doesn't have any legs, and she's in dialysis every day for 3 hours, hooked up to a big machine that cleans her liver. And so she's on this wheelchair with no legs, in dialysis, she's going blind as well, and all these other things. She lives on next to nothing, and they're trying to throw her out of her apartment. Not because anybody's ever smelled marijuana smoke, but because when she got her medical permit to actually legally possess marijuana, she went to tell her apartment officials that I have it, and that's when they decided to throw her out. At that point, she notified them, I'm using marijuana, but I'm legal, and they said, yeah, but you're not legal here. You might be legal in the eyes of the government. So they started proceedings to throw her out. Now, you're living in a society where, our ethos is basically to look after the vulnerable, and here they are, a woman with no legs, going blind, goes to Dallas 5 days a week, has lived in that building 8 years without complaint. By the way, people are allowed to smoke cigarettes in that building, too. It's a senior building. And now they've successfully, I hired a lawyer for her, I got her the volcano so the smell would be eliminated, and it wasn't enough for the apartment.
When Marc Emery can be free to run his business and sell his seeds, it's just a plant, it's just a weed, another victim of corporate greed. It's simply business. It's simply business. It's simply business, why they won't let us grow. It's simply business. We burn the oil and cut the trees.
Drive. It's very strange, though, that you're getting a message in all these ads to buy beer, drink beer, oh, buy this car, too, buy car, beer, goes back and forth, all hockey game, right? But, so we live in a hypocritical world where everything they say is true is a lie, and all the lies they've told us about marijuana are in fact lies. They lie about everything. They lie about things that are good for you and things that are bad for you. Now, we're going to get to a point at some point where I'm going to tell you that marijuana is incredible for you. It's the best, greatest plant that was ever put on this earth. It's got more uses than any other plant. I mean, let's face it, even if tobacco didn't kill you, even if alcohol didn't kill you, even if fatty foods didn't kill you, even if coffee didn't basically rot out your bowels, nobody could actually come up and say, you know what? I take coffee for therapeutic reasons because it's dealing with my MS and I can't believe it. Or you don't see people saying, hey, I drink alcohol because my glaucoma keeps getting better every time I drink more alcohol. You never see that. So not only does marijuana not kill you, meaning it's harmless, it shouldn't even be in the purview of criminal law, but it's actually incredibly beneficial for you in a way that no other substance is. Most substances are good for one thing. A car takes you places, alcohol gets you drunk, salt makes things saltier, but there's nothing more than that. It's as simple as that. Cotton, you can't smoke cotton. You can make clothes with it, but you can't do anything else with it, right? You could pulp it. What's that?
Poison the earth.
Well, that's because cotton has more pesticides put on it than any other agricultural non-food crop. There are actually food crops that actually have more pesticides sprayed on them, if you can believe it.
I got the Reefer Blues. 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 I got no friends cause I got no bud. Just shake, baby, shake. Shake, baby, shake. Shake, baby, shake. shake. Shake, baby, shake. Shake, baby, shake. I got no friends 'cause I got no buzz. Just shake, baby, shake.
Marijuana is a vile, rotten person. You could say that. One day you should get up and courage and look at a few prohibitionists in the face and you are so hateful, you're so angry, you disgust me. You're unworthy to even be on this planet as a human being. They are. No one has the right to advocate that someone else go to jail for their peaceful on-site. No one has the right to say that Duke should go to jail because they're pacifists. And in this country, the RCMP, I should bring this up in Alberta, because, most of Eastern Canada doesn't have the same history of the RCMP we have here. The RCMP was formed to kick the asses of everybody who wasn't a white Anglophilic Christian. If you were British and spoke English and were white, then the RCMP was made to make sure you dominated this country for eternity. The RCMP in the past 70 years has basically put their boots to Germans, Russians, Italians, French, Métis, natives, Doukhobors, Hutterites. Every single minority that exists out west has had their ass kicked by the RCMP at some time. The RCMP is a standing army, an occupation force that was formed deliberately to suppress dissent in the west. In the eastern part of Canada, we had the Dominion Police, and they only emerged in the mid-40s with the RCMP to become the dominant police. So, and Ontario and Quebec have their own police systems, so they don't have the experience with the RCMP that we have out west. The RCMP have always been trained to go after socialists, trade union workers, anarchists, Germans, Russians, people of all ethnic backgrounds, natives, Métis. Their job is basically to oppress us. And now, because it's uncool to oppress people if they're Jewish or Hutterite or Doukhobor, they oppress the people they can. And for a while they were doing horrible things to us, the French Canadians in Quebec during the 1970s. Bombings, impersonations, subversions of the legitimate political process. And then later on they worked on homosexuals in the 60s and the 70s, trying to subvert them. And the only people left who have a political agenda that is unfulfilled, who are clearly persecuted, who've been victimized for 45 years, who have a legitimate claim to compensation for all that's happened to us, is the pot people. And that's why we have a record number of arrests in this country.
There was a time when I smoked any kind. You'll try anything when you're young to get high. But now that I'm wise, there's just one type to buy that changed my life and truly satisfies.